Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Journey Through Open Doors. And this morning, I'm going to give people time to get on here um, while I get some things together. Good morning, Vicky. Good morning, Pedro. Good morning, Maz. Good morning, Needham. How are you guys? Amen. Amen. This morning, I'm not going to open the segment with my normal introduction because I want to focus on the topic, which is the power of speech. Now, I'm sure that we've all been upset by somebody's actions, somebody's words, and therefore, what comes into play is our power of action, which is comes from what I believe thoughts and what we convey. Um, in lieu of the recent statement that Kanye West has made, it is not my point to browbeat anyone. God bless you. Good morning, everybody. I'm not doing that. Basically, I just want to bring notice to my viewers and what my personal opinion is, because a lot, people have asked me. Kanye West made a statement that slavery was a choice. And his uh, validity in that statement that he made was the fact that slavery was for over 400 years and slaves outnumbered the plantation owners. Therefore, it was a choice. But then he goes on to try to explain what his statement was. And he goes, the reason why I brought up the 400 years was to point out that it is because we can't be mentally imprisoned for another 400 years. We need free thought now. Even this statement was an example of free thought. It was just an idea. Once again, I am being attacked for presenting new ideas. Now, Kanye West's statement to me, where it was coming from, I don't know. But what I will say is that this man has been through a lot since the death of his mother, and he has admittedly had an opiate addiction. Now, I want to focus on the statement about the power of speech. It is important that we as people know that there are other people watching, and everything that we say can be taken apart and scrutinized. But what I'm coming from, my point of view, is that he is saying that slavery was a choice. That's not true. When we look at the definition of slavery, that speaks for itself. Jews were enslaved, Chinese people were enslaved, Africans were enslaved, Italians were enslaved. And I also want to point out that he makes a valid statement with mentally imprisonment. But mentally imprisonment is totally different from slavery. Slavery is in captivity and in bondage. It has nothing to do with the mind. Like I will say, think outside the plantation, which we know that because of slavery, we have the good hair, the bad hair, the light skin, the dark skin, the field workers to the big house, but these are two different things. We cannot equate what was going on as far as mentally imprisonment with the bondage that our people, and that's Black, Jews, Italian, Chinese, etc., have encountered. Right now we have sex trafficking. That's slavery. We need to focus on what we need to do to help rid slavery. Now, mental imprisonment, you could say, is a choice. Not slavery is a choice. Mental imprisonment, if someone harms me, and I choose to let that person keep harming me, that is a choice. Okay? But however, depression is not a choice. You understand? So people have to think. People have to think of what they say and exercise their power of speech. Read before you state. A good man, William D. Burton, who has a CD out, okay? And one of which he has a track on there, Thoughts, entitled Thoughts. Now, I encourage everybody to get this CD because we as a people, we're listening to music that defames women, promote gun violence, but yet we don't think about the music that encourage us to be better beings. So with that being said, the CD by William D. Burton, okay, is entitled Witty Stories from the Heart Museum, and Songs and Witty Stories from the Heart Museum. So, and there's a track on there entitled Thoughts. There's also some other music that's on there that talks about what is going on today. And one of his songs was written back in 1977. So, and this is a gentleman that is 74 years of age who has been around for so long. And he still rides a bike, happily married, and that's what we need to do. We need to start within our homes and our communities with enriching the minds, reading books, educating one another, and also understanding the power that we have in our speech. Now, I wrote a status, and I'm just going to read it. I wrote this on my other page, which is Michelle Carter Douglas. And the status is, everyone has the right to his or her opinion. So when Kanye West expressed his appreciation of President Trump, that is his right. I don't have an issue with that. However, for Kanye West to state slavery was a choice, shame on you, Mr. West. Shame on you. Behind every word uttered dwells a thought unspoken. My coworker and coach, Mr. William D. Burton, speaks so eloquently, and at the age of 74, he still rides a bike, happily married, published writer, and gainfully employed. Kanye West, well, let's just say, I welcome all to take a listen to William D. Burton's CD entitled Songs and Witty Stories from the Heart Museum, and then listen to Kanye West's CD entitled Life of Pablo. Please give your opinion on the content of lyrics. I personally believe that Mr. William D. Burton continues the late Dr. Martin Luther King's legacy's dream on how we as people want to be seen by the content of our character. Our character equals thoughts. Now, this is what I wrote, and this is what I believe. Sometimes people quote the late Dr. Martin Luther King, the I Have a Dream speech. And in that speech, late Dr. Martin Luther King states that I have a dream that one day my children will be judged by the content of their character and not by the color of their skin. Now, that I Have a Dream speech, I think, deals with not only we as a people of the Black race, but it also includes Caucasian and other nationalities. And it also includes diversity within diversity, which is minority versus minority. There are people that ostracize people that are in the same race and that is of another race. There's people that ostracize one another that are dark skin versus dark skin. So we have to go behind and work our mind. How do we work our mind? How do we work our mind? By sifting. And how do we sift? By prayer. By prayer, meditation, and supplication. At a young age, I went through a lot. And I'm not going to lie, through my teenage years, and I'm sure everybody, and that's another thing, all people make mistakes. There are no perfect people in this world. But if you keep making the mistakes, you have to redirect your thoughts. And the only way you're going to do that is through prayer, meditation, supplication. And then also you have to feed good thoughts. It's just like your grass. If your grass is brown and got bald patches, what do? Do you just put water on it? No. You're going to have to go and you're going to have to research the best things to do to put on that lawn to make the vegetation green. So, with that being said, we go and we go to the Word, the Holy Bible. And also with that, we say, what am I doing that I want to change? What is the way that I'm thinking? Because of things that was said about my complexion or whatever, and being unjustifiably terminated because they thought I was too dark skinned and intimidating, with the complexion and my weight. And you know what? I reevaluated that. And I love my chocolate. At the age of 45 years old, I thank God. Because my ethnicity, I'm multiracial. I'm of Choctaw Indian descent. My grandmother had Irish. My father, biological father, had not only African American, but Venezuelan. And you know what? My skin is branded black, then by and by. So I love my chocolate skin, and I love me with and without weave, So, but that came through prayer and knowing that God designed us. So in my mother's womb, this is the way I was designed. And I love it now. So I had to change my thought process. Now, another thing that I'm working on is the power of speech. Because a lot of times people will bring up my past when I was a teenager, but then they don't take accountability for how they told me I was no good. And, my sister and I were called the fatherless, the fat fatherless twins. That's some of the names that we were called in choir rehearsal. But, that's neither here nor there. But I'm bringing that up because when people were bringing up my past and bringing up those wounds, I didn't curse them out, but I said very assertively, I don't know what cross you walked up on and came down back off of, but you're not Jesus. So, people say it's not what you say, how you say it. But the power of speech in that situation was the truth. And a lot of people can't feast upon the truth because they're still snacking on lies. So with that being said, the power of speech has to be something that is not only encouraging, but also educational from a spiritual sense. So I'm just urging everyone, start feeding your mind. Feeding your mind with good things. When you exercise the right to speech, you have to have went through exercising your thoughts. If you think negative, you're going to say negative. If you think positive, you're going to speak positive. And when you speak positive, you'll receive positive, you know. So with that being said, I just want everybody to understand that Kanye West is in our prayers. And anybody that would like to go back and learn about slavery, I think that is good. What I also will say is that on the situation or the statement about that, it was a choice because slaves were outnumbered. We have to understand, we came over here not speaking this language. That's first and foremost. Whenever you come across a person and there's a language barrier, that is already a submission state, because you don't understand what the words is coming out the person's mouth. You don't understand that, you know. And then there is oppression because you're relying on the person for your food, for your water, for your rags, for your scraps, for a place to stay. And then you're beaten. So there's a lot of things that was going on. I just feel as though whatever thoughts are going on, because I don't believe that he's the only one to think that. I believe possibly there are other people that thought that. And then given who his wife is, who knows what the pillow talk is, you know? So I think that this topic needs to be discussed in a forum to not browbeat people, but educate people, you know? And by educating people, we have to be mindful of our thoughts and our power of speech. Because if we come at and we say, you know what, blank, 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 you know, they're not going to receive that. They're going to go in back to their negative thoughts. But one of which I said with my children are all adults, 18, 21, and soon to be 24. And at a young age, I made sure that they watch certain movies. I would help read certain books. You know, my kids, have special needs, and it was difficulty reading for them. But like I said, you know, God has worked on that. And you feed what you read and what you see. And when people see my kids, they say, you know, they're so respectable, they're so nice. It's because their thoughts were fed. So we need to, again, start feeding our thoughts, start nurturing our thoughts with positivity. And then we will be able to speak positive. Is there any questions before I go on to another statement? And I thank you all so much. I am doing okay. Thank you. I am doing okay. I thank you so much. I thank you so much. It's a blessing that you all have tuned in this morning. I am so blessed. And Cecil, yes, I am doing all right. How are you doing? Amen. Amen. So that concludes today's segment. And again, I want to thank you all so much. And remember, dare to be different, just be kind.